The decade-long search for Osama bin Laden has been carried out in the mountains of Afghanistan and Pakistan, rugged terrain that made it easier for the al-Qaeda leader to hide. CBS News chief foreign correspondent Lara Logan is very familiar with that area. She joins us now from Washington. Lara, this sounds like the type of place that in that area, although it was very rugged terrain, it would have stuck out like a sore thumb. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Well, certainly the size of this compound, I mean, 8 times larger, said to be 8 times larger than any other compound or house in the area. That would have made it noticeable for sure. And what's very interesting about this, though, is that it's right next to the rugged mountains of the tribal areas of Pakistan up against the Pakistani border, but it's not actually inside them. In fact, this, if anything, is closer to the Pakistani capital, Islamabad. So what's, so fascinating is the question has finally been answered. Where was Osama bin Laden hiding? And it didn't turn out to be a cave. In fact, it turned out to be a luxurious mansion in a congested city. One of the things that's so noticeable about Pakistan when you travel there from Afghanistan is that it's fairly sophisticated in terms of it has 24-hour power and the buildings are fairly well kept. This is said to be the cleanest city in Pakistan after Islamabad. So Osama bin Laden certainly wasn't roughing it the way many people thought he was.
So the obvious question, Lara, is how could Pakistani officials not know or alert the United States to his whereabouts?
Yeah, none of the officials that I've spoken to, whether they're on the military side, counterterrorism side, government side, I mean, no one sees how they could possibly not have known that Osama bin Laden was there. I mean, who built this compound for him? I mean, and not only that, but I mean, this is where the Pakistanis' main military training academy is based. This neighborhood where the compound is full of retired military officials. There are all the regimental centers for the Pakistani military are in there, their medical facility, their main hospital. So, I mean, it's fair to say that this is an area that was crawling with active duty and retired military forces. In fact, the chief of Pakistan's army, General Kayani, was there just 4 or 5 days ago addressing cadets. The academy itself is the main one for officers. Kayani went through that academy. The former president, Pervez Musharraf, went through that academy. I mean, these are old relationships that matter in Pakistan. And the idea that bin Laden could have been living amongst these people and they didn't know about it just seems completely improbable.
Now, Lara, you spent a lot of time with Navy SEALs, some of these very units that carried out the mission. Tell me what you can about how this mission would have gone down.
Well, even within the Navy SEALs, there's a hierarchy. And at the very top, their most elite unit is SEAL Team 6. And that's known as what you call Tier 1 on the black side of operations. Tier 1 forces, that's the highest that the U.S. has. And they are specifically trained for high-value target raids. I mean, they do hostage recovery. They do body recovery, for example. If bin Laden had been killed by a drone and they went in to get the body, they do this kind of operation where they went in to kill him. And but typically, they don't operate alone. The U.S. military has no mandate, legal mandate, to operate inside Pakistan on Pakistani soil. But who does? The CIA does, under Title 50. That's their charter. So this operation had to be sanctioned by the CIA. It was, the overall person in charge of it was the head of the CIA, Leon Panetta. But the ground commander, the guys who carried it out, they were Navy SEALs, SEAL Team 6. And I am hearing that there were CIA operatives that were present, but essentially the CIA no longer has the ability to carry out this kind of operation on their own. That's why, they need the military to do this. And there is obviously a lot of overlap in intelligence sharing and other areas. And typically, the best visual example that I can give you that's been given to me by people who know how this works is if you think of Black Hawk Down in Somalia, where there was a compound and U.S. Army Rangers were dropped in first. They would have provided the perimeter security, made a cordon around the compound itself, and then the infiltration, that's what they call it, when the U.S. forces would actually have gone into inside the compound. They were targeting a specific building. They obviously believed that that's where Osama bin Laden was hiding out, and they're the ones who would have gone in ready for a fight. They would have been clearing the rooms, room to room. We're told that at least 3 people were killed, and 3 men and a woman, and and that a number of captives were taken, and they were put straight onto those American helicopters, including women and children. And then, of course, you would have had special operations helicopters that would have been flying in this operation as well. And there wouldn't have been a lot of time. I mean, we were told that I think it was less than 40 minutes on the ground in Pakistan. I mean, you're trying to get in and get out as fast as you can. And, you know, clearly, in fact, I was speaking to a number of operators last night who were not involved in this, but said that they knew as soon as their friends were being debriefed, they thought that they would be celebrating.
All right, CBS News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Lara Logan, invaluable insight, and we thank you.
Thank you very much.